is a great day to be alive, and I am so thankful for God, Jesus Christ, who lives in us. Today's video is titled, Luna Bee Theme and BNB Tiger Combo Continues. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I'm sharing is financial advice. I'm simply sharing dreams, visions, and interpretations that I feel God's given me as it relates to crypto. Now, let's get into the video. So in this video, I want to share just some Luna, or I should say bee theme events that have been taking place since my last video. God is continuing to confirm to me more using this bee theme. And I'm going to go through those unique events that have taken place, and then bring it down to two common titles. And I don't quite understand the titles and why these titles are connected to these people. One of the titles we've talked about, but I'll clarify more on that when we get to it. But for now, getting into the first event had to do with me being on Facebook. And as I'm on Facebook scrolling through, I see this post. Not the doggy nails, not the doggy nails. So here, this person in this post is doing their dog's nails, and on their nails, they are painting a picture of a honeybee. I thought that was unique, strange, but unique. And then the second thing I saw had to do with this news coverage, a honeybee colony that was found in a sewer, a honeybee colony in a sewer. Very unusual indeed. And then the next event that took place, I was sitting watching NBC News Daily on April 30th, as stated here in this picture. And they were talking about different artists, different ones. Well, Beyonce came up, and one of the news anchors said, she said, "I called the army, the beehive." Here she was referring to Beyonce, of course. And that made me think about Luna. The next one, we were watching the movie Mario Galaxy, and in one portion of that movie, they entered into, I guess you could call it a hive, and the queen bee had something to say. Shortly after seeing that news segment about artists and Beyonce, and me connecting that to Luna because she talked about the beehive and assembling the army, I got an email from someone who had been spending time before the Lord, and something that God shared with her had to also do with Beyonce. So she emailed me and she informed me that Beyonce is a beekeeper. Now, I had not told anyone about what I saw on NBC News about the newscaster talking about assembling the bee army. No one knew about that, but because she sent that to me, that came as a form of confirmation that something with Luna, something with the bee, something is being centered on Beyonce for whatever reason. I'm not sure. It says here Beyonce has a beehive at her house with over 80,000 bees, and she makes her own honey. And then also she's known as Queen Bee. And so learning that Beyonce is a beekeeper, this made me think about Teraphilia. And we talked about Teraphilia, that dream that I had about Teraphilia, which led us to Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is also a beekeeper. Again, this is old news. So we have two people with the titles so far of beekeeper. This is something that we haven't been looking for. This is how God has led us in this weight as we talk about Luna and the bee theme connection. So we have Morgan Freeman, beekeeper. We have Beyonce, a beekeeper, or another name, she called herself Queen Bee. So now I have this ongoing title of beekeeper and Queen Bee. And so, unfortunately, a week or so ago, we discovered that we may have a termite issue. And so with this in mind, I began to do my research. I'm scared, I'm nervous, like how bad is this? And so as I began to do my research, I came across this with my AI search. It talks about a treatment method that could be recommended. However, it warns against the impact of certain treatment, which could have an effect on local pollinators and active beehives. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. It follows you. The signs from God will follow you. And therefore, when I saw this, I thought about Luna. Now I'm thinking to myself, God, if it's bad, it shouldn't be bad. We've only been here for 4 years. It's a brand new house. But fortunately for us, praise and thank God, we had no serious issues at all. But when I saw that tidbit, I thought about Luna. Next, right now, my husband is transitioning out of the military. He has completed just shy of 3 months of his 20 years in. And so with his transitioning, moving from the military into a civilian job, we may have to relocate. And with that being in mind, we decided to visit the location of where his new job is going to possibly be. And as we were riding around looking at the city, we decided to take a break, let the kids stretch their legs. And in the parking lot where we decided to stop, I saw this store in this plaza, and I saw the word Luna Pizza, and I saw the little moon, and I said, God, okay, Lord, this is another sign here with Luna. During this time when we were visiting this city was during the first run-up of Luna earlier this month. Okay, then just this week, I'm sitting on the couch, me and my husband were talking, and I happened to look up and out of the window and saw a vehicle pass by. And when I looked up at the perfect time, I saw this van. Now, the side of this van that I saw looked like this. It had Bee King on the side. And so I told my husband, I think I saw a bee van just pass by our house. And so I went to look up what I thought it said. I think it said King Bee because it was passing as I was looking up. And so I looked it up, King Bee, and sure enough, this was the exact van that I saw. Again, this was the side of the van that I saw. And so I decided to go back. I said, let me make sure. Let me go and pull my camera footage and see if this indeed said King Bee and if that's what I saw. And so I pulled my camera footage, and as you guys can see, comparing what I found online with what I saw on my camera, it was indeed this King Bee van. So once again, God, you have these bees, this sign of bees following me, and I feel that you're showing me there's something more to this. So now we have a King Bee and we have a Queen Bee. So we have 3 titles here, and the common denominator that I'm seeing so far is Beyonce. As far as the beekeeper, it's Beyonce. As far as Queen Bee, Beyonce's common denominator. As far as King and Queen Bee, Beyonce's common denominator. So going back to this idea of beekeeper, again, this brings about the dream that I had about Teraphilia. When we first started talking about this idea of beekeeper being connected to Luna and Morgan Freeman, Teraphilia also took us back to the BNB tiger dream, because in that Teraphilia painting, that collage of different art pieces, there were 2 tigers, one breaking out, one seeming to be consumed. And so this art piece again was called Teraphilia. I shared how that someone emailed me about this Teraphilia art piece with these 2 tigers. This portion of this painting was a painting again of its own, and it was called Flight of the Bee, because the bee was the cause of what you see happening in this particular painting. And so I took a look at the painting, and sure enough, there was a bee in this painting with these 2 tigers. This pretty much concluded what I felt God was showing me all along about the movement of Luna and BNB Tiger. Right now, we've seen Luna moving, nothing with BNB Tiger just yet. So there's something about Beyonce here that is popping out at me from all of these categories. So let's move on to what is next. And so here, the same day that I looked up and saw the King Bee van, I got a notification on my phone and I saw this article stating Morgan Freeman turned his entire 124-acre ranch into a sanctuary for bees. We already knew this. I'm kind of like, why am I seeing this? And I was just thinking about this, the van just went by, and I looked to see if this is old. Like, why am I seeing this now? And I looked, and sure enough, this article was put out on May 18th, 2026. Again, taking us back to Beekeeper, taking us back to Teraphilia. So I began to look at the background. I said, wait a minute, does that say Terra Club? No, that I've zoomed in on it. It does not say Terra Club. It says Sierra Club, which means about the same thing as Teraphilia, talking about the love of the earth and all those type of things. And so also last week, I had been praying about purchasing more of Luna. I saw Luna make a pullback. And so I said, okay, God, is it for me to invest more into Luna? I believe in what you're saying. You keep showing me all these different types of bee themes connecting with Luna. And so I said, God, if I am to sell out of this investment in order to buy more of Luna, then give me a Lunc sign. Give me a sign. That same week, we ended up checking into a hotel, and I was in the kitchen area washing my hands, looking for a paper towel. And as I reached over to grab a paper towel, I saw this on the counter. And when I saw that, I knew that that was my sign that I needed to go ahead and make those investment moves. And so as I stated, this Luna or Lunc bee theme and BNB Tiger combo is still continuing. And along the lines of what's in the news now, I want to remind you guys that this BNB Tiger dream had a tie to Do Kwon. So if you guys can remember, Do Kwon was a part of the research as I began to look into this BNB Tiger dream, trying to dissect it, and remembering that the pentagon was a part of this dream. I saw a pentagon in this dream. And the first pentagon that we came across that I shared in many previous videos back was this Olympics pentagon, and how it was located in South Korea. And when I saw South Korea, I thought about Do Kwon, but that wasn't enough. I felt like there could be a Luna tied to this, but I had to be sure. Also in that BNB Tiger dream, I saw a scavenger map with the Venturian man on it. And later on, a few weeks after having this dream, trying to understand why he showed me the Venturian man and the scavenger map, my daughter brought to me from Children's Church, her scavenger map that had a verse on it. This verse was a lyric to a gospel artist song that I listened to all the time. And when I put the two side by side after doing my research on her, Do Kwon and LaShawn Pace has the same birthday, September the 6th. So this to me was confirmation that Luna is a part of this timeline. It's a part of what's going on with this dream. Something else that I haven't talked a whole lot about, if you're going back to the Luna Mama dream, I talked about Cribbage or Cribbage. This was a game that I spoke briefly about in this video as it relates to cribs. In this dream, my husband called me Luna Mama. And that's how I knew this dream was about Luna. A lot of moving parts there, but you have to go back and check out that video. If you can also recall that there were 2 cribs in this dream. And so as I began to do my research, I came across this game called Cribbage, and it had all to do with pegs. And how you score in this game is various ways, but one of the things that stood out was pairs. You can score using pairs. When I thought about pairs, I thought about, in this dream, I saw a pair of glasses. In this dream, I saw a pair of cribs. And so here we are looking at this game called Cribbage, and you move along the board scoring using pegs and getting pairs in other various ways. When I thought about pairs, I also thought about Luna and USTC. They are a pair. And the issue we know that caused the crash was that the first pair, UST, became unpegged. So in this game, Cribbage, you use pegs to score. You can score using pairs. I feel that this is saying that we're going to score using pairs, and those pairs are Lunc and USTC. And so this supports what I feel God has shown me in my very first dream. I shared this already. I saw Luna $7 and USTC was 80 cents. And I believe that, and I've shared that, I feel seeing USTC at 80 cents means that there's going to be a strong attempt to repeg, or it's going to repeg altogether. Now, thinking about this way back almost 3-4 years ago, the fact that this unpegged coin, this unstable coin, will somehow become repegged, it was kind of hard to understand. And the more, God has shown us and revealed to us that there's something here, going back to seeing that there was a Do Kwon connection to the BNB Tiger dream. Seeing that strong Do Kwon connection should have prompted me to see that there's something about Do Kwon that's going to allow this repegging or this strong attempt to repeg. And just yesterday in the news, we saw these articles circling, talking about Jane Street. Jane Street accused of using Telegram back channel before UST crash. There's something going on here that was not right. Something going on here that promoted this crash. As I can understand, there's an ongoing investigation into Jane Street. But before I get off of here, I want to say that someone back in February 28th, if I'm not mistaken, she emailed me and she said that God, for whatever reason, was speaking Jane Street to her. Here we are back at Jane Street. I want to say thank you to the individual that shared this in February. I thank God for this wealth transfer community, those subscribers, and even individuals who are not, who have reached out to try and help to understand and share all these spiritual nuggets that God has given them to help us come to a conclusion about what God is showing us here. And so again, this Cribbage game is connecting to that Luna Mama Dream, this cribbage game that is played using pegs. And I think the whole idea behind pegs is that something is going to happen with USTC as it relates to repegging, or again, a strong attempt to repeg, and therefore those numbers that I saw in my dream, Luna going to, Lunc going to $7, USTC going to 80 cents. I think this is the path that is going to allow that to happen. Again, this is all new information, and we will have to wait and see how this all plays out. And so that is all that I have for this video. Until the next one, God bless.